Well, hello again, and welcome to Void Signal. I'm the host of this business, Brian Prime, and this episode is a chat with Leo and Shaun of Street Sects. Street Sects, S-E-C-T-S, is an industrial punk noise rock mashup sort of a thing. Their performances are raw, energy-drenched sonic violence, and the music matches. Recently, the duo began a new side project, Street Sects, S-E-X, where they work with producer Ben Chisholm, who's worked with Wolfe. The music is more melodic and pop-driven and maybe digestible, but maintains a simmering menace to it. They're currently finishing out a tour with Youth Code and King Yosef, having previously toured with Health, where I first heard them. I sat down for a short chat with Leo and Shaun not that long ago and discussed the two projects and what the future held for each of them. But before we get to that, a couple of words, if I may. First, I'd like to remind you that the Void Signal intro, as much of the music on this show is courtesy of Processor. You can visit processor2.bandcamp.com for more Processor, or search Processor anywhere you get music. Have you heard the good news? Void Signal is ad-free and powered by people. I am a person who helps power it, and you can help create more independent media by signing up for the Void Signal Patreon for as little as $2. Visit voidsignal.net or patreon.com/voidsignal and slip me some dollars if you had a good time. Thank you as always for listening and clicking my buttons. One last thing, friend. The world is grim and times are dire. Join in the communities and circles you find yourselves in. Please stay safe, stay loud, and stick together.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Well, thank you for doing this. I think Shaun might be having some trouble getting in. Yeah, I thought we were going to be able to jump in early, but Shaun was running behind. So
it's all good. Yeah, no worries. Like I said, I just was sitting here enjoying some of your music. I'll try and save my praise until we're officially rolling and everything. But yeah, thank you so much for agreeing to do this. You guys have kind of been on my list to ask ever since. And I think maybe I might have even said hello and introduced myself when you guys played San Francisco in September of a couple years back. I was there to see Health, and you guys just blew the roof off that fucking place, and intended to have you guys on ever since. And I'm glad it's finally working out.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate the kind words. That was definitely the most fun we've ever had on tour, and we're super grateful for Health for taking us out on that, because that was not only the most fun, it was definitely the biggest tour we ever did, and it was just awesome to be on a tour of that scale. Because a lot of the tours that we've done have been, a good majority of them have been kind of shoestring DIY type tours, playing houses, playing basements, and things like that. And we've done some professional tours, professional bands, but nothing quite at that level. Hold on one second, Shaun. He was clicking on a different link in a different email thread.
Oh, it's all good. And we can, if it's still going to take him a minute or so, that's totally chill. We can go ahead and get started, and he can just drop in. It's pretty casual.
Where are you? So you're in San Francisco?
No, I'm in Reno, actually. So about a 4-hour drive from San Francisco. But yeah, I like Reno. I've moved away and ended up coming back. It's chill, nice little mountain town.
Okay, Reno, California?
Reno, Nevada.
Oh yeah, well, okay. I mean, that was what I first thought, Reno, Nevada.
Yeah.
But then I guess I didn't realize that Reno, Nevada was so close to San Francisco. So yeah, my bad.
Oh yeah, it's all good. Yeah,
you can tell somebody here about geography.
Yeah, it's all good. I mean, I know you guys are from Texas, right? So, man.
Yeah, we both live in Austin. Neither one of us are from here. We've been here probably about 10, 12 years. I'm from upstate New York originally.
Oh, gotcha.
And Shaun is from South Florida.
What drew you both to Austin?
Just like the music scene, like we kind of, I met him when I moved down to Florida. And then, we started bands down there, and then, we just kind of had a thing where we would just move to different places. Like we moved to Massachusetts for a while and tried things there. And then we moved to Athens, Georgia for a while, tried things there. And then we'd always go back to Florida, kind of regroup. And then we tried Austin, and this was the one that kind of stuck, kind of worked,
Sure. Felt like a place you might belong.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd go that far.
Okay.
But like, I think for us, it was just like, we were just trying to, get a band to have enough steam. Hold on a second.
Sure. Okay. Sorry about that. I drink so much water at work all day and then just get a pee all day.
Yeah, no, I do the same thing. I'm actually still at work. So if I sound a little low energy, I've been at work today. So, but you're in the same boat. You worked all day too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I pound coffee and water all day. So I'm sure there's gonna be some point where I mute myself to go do the same thing.
Yeah, all good. Yeah, water and coffee all day. What's your day job?
Pissing. Security guard. Yeah, we're both working as security guards now. I've been doing it for about 4 or 5 years at the same company, and I talked Shaun into joining here because we've worked all kinds of various jobs over the years, and I was like, well, this job, as far as shitty jobs go, it pays slightly better than some of the other ones, and it's the easiest fucking job in the world. So it's like you can just depending on which site you're at, sometimes they move us to different sites, but like you can usually still have enough energy after a shift to want to go work on music, and that's kind of like the upside to it. And sometimes you can even get away with bringing your laptop and working on stuff while you're at work. If you're the only guard on duty, so it's nice in that respect. What do you do?
I work for a company that makes dental loops. So like the specialized glasses that your dentist wears, I work for a company that makes those. So in the mornings, I'm kind of transitioning from being customer service. And in the afternoons, I go and work in the marketing department, which is cool and rewarding. But you're kind of tapping into my creative juices to like make stuff. So when I get home, like the battery's a little low for like, oh, let me sit and do more of this, except for my radio show podcast thing. So yeah, that does seem to be the benefit though for your position of just like not feeling drained when you're done.
Right. I imagine what you do, because it sounds very specialized, probably pays a little bit more than being a security guard. So
you would think that, but maybe you'd be wrong. The pay's not great, but they took a chance on me. Like I don't have like a strong marketing resume, but I have a podcast I've been running for 4 years. So they interviewed me for it and just were impressed with what I'd made on my own and decided to give me a shot. That's awesome. So yeah, so I'll take it. It'll turn into something else eventually. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, you've got a smooth radio voice, that's for sure.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Check.
Hello. I can hear you. Awesome.
Microsoft Teams.
Yeah, I used to record via Discord, but it was kind of a big ask for people to like, hey, install this thing and join a channel and so on. So yeah, it is what it is.
Word.
Well, here we are. We made it, and
yeah,
smooth sailing from here on out.
Do either of you need to like hit the bathroom or anything really quick or anything like that?
I'm good for right now.
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks.
All right, cool. So we'll go ahead and get this started. I'll just do a quick little intro and then gush a little bit. Welcome to Void Signal. I am your host, Brian Prime. I am joined by Leo and Shaun from Street Sects, along with their new project, Street Sects. There's a difference there in spelling. Thank you both so much for making this work and joining me. As I was telling Leo kind of before you joined, Shaun, I caught you guys opening for Health in San Francisco years back, and just you blew the roof off that place and just made such an impression, and I've kind of intended to have you on for some time now. So yeah, thank you very much for making this work. I think you guys are making something that's really fresh and really unique. So yeah, definitely keep doing that. But aside from that, how are you both doing?
Great. Thank you so much for coming to the show and checking us out, and thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you, Brian. We really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us.
Yeah, my pleasure.
We're doing great. We have the record release well, not really a record release, but a record listening party going on tomorrow in Austin. And we're having actually Johnny from Health coming into town to DJ it and having a few other bands. And it should be a good time.
Nice. Yeah. Let me ask you about that. So the new release, tell me about how this baby was birthed and what led to its creation.
We started working on the Street Sects record Drive Drunk prior to the pandemic. Shaun was writing musical demos, and then we took like a hiatus there for a while, for about a year, because some things happened during the pandemic, and then we came back and we continued to work on. Well, I started writing demos for those demos probably during that hiatus, and then we regrouped and started working on new material, and Shaun kind of whipped some of those demos into shape, and then we started talking to Ben Chisholm from Wolfe. We kind of linked up with him and asked him to produce the record, so he kind of played a role into helping us kind of sonically kind of finesse those demos, and kind of because Shaun had written a ton of material, like he had like 30 something demos. And so we kind of, some of the demos were kind of, combined into songs, like different pieces were kind of chopped and reformed in songs. And while we were kind of doing that, I had the idea of trying to do kind of like a more, kind of more of a pop project, because, Shaun has always, in my opinion, had a really great gift for melodic arrangements, but that's not really something that we've ever really had the opportunity to let shine in this project, because it's kind of all been kind of more discordant and aggressive since we started Street Sects. But in previous projects, there was a lot more melody and a lot more kind of pop songwriting, I guess you'd call it. And so we kind of started working on demos for that, and then it was just kind of like, rather than call it the same name as the original project, we thought it would be a good idea to call it something different. And actually, Street Sects SEX was the name that I originally pitched for the project when we first started the project. But Shaun thought it might have been a little bit too on the nose, and it was like, okay, so I changed the spelling to SECTS because it was a little bit less, gouty, and it still sounds the same when you say it out loud. So we thought it would be kind of fun to kind of use the original name, because the names do sound kind of the same when you say them out loud, especially quickly. And so it kind of is a fun way to kind of let people know that it's basically the same project, just two different hats,
Yeah, it is very clever, and it does fit the vibes that are on offer from the two different projects. I feel like, the one being a little more serious and intense, and the other a little more, not less serious or less intense, but more melodic and maybe a little more carefree.
You're right. It's less serious. It's I mean, in some respects, it's a little more fruity. It's a little more fun. And, that was kind of the intention.
Fruity and fun.
Yeah, for sure. Shaun, what led you to these demos that eventually turned into this thing? What kind of went into making those? Like, what kind of influences and channeling? What has struck your fancy lately that sort of made you produce these things?
The pop material?
Yeah.
I think it was a need to kind of grow as a producer. I think anybody I've ever talked to that works in a DAW, they tend to be YouTube tutorial watchers, just constantly trying to add to the repertoire. And over time, I got really into bass music producers, which, sometimes it funnels into what we all know as dubstep. And while I don't want to make music like that, I really admire some of the artistry and the sound design that goes into their music. And so that just really started inspiring me. Plus, I've just always been into pop. I love Charlie XCX and that style of Elangelo, who's worked with The Weeknd, and other people that go beyond electronic stuff. One Tricks Point Never, many artists. And I wanted to expand it a bit. So when we decided we're going to make some pop music, I quickly realized I needed to up the skills. I was already trying, but to actually make something melodic and balanced. Certain elements of a pop track you need to have balanced. I actually really there was a learning curve. So that was part of the process, just figuring out as I went along. It's interesting to go back to those early demos.
Yeah.
And check that out.
And do you feel like having to learn and sort of up your game a little bit, do you think that will be a factor moving forward when you perhaps return to working on things that are not this?
Yes. And actually, to my great surprise, they complement each other. I was not expecting that. So all the Street Sects stuff, the heavy stuff, it's still written electronically. A lot of it is, even if it's recorded outside, it ends up being processed in software. And a lot of what I learned was just EQing better and using saturation and distortion better, making space for things, having more impactful drums, more nuance. And as we're getting ready for tour, I'm starting to make certain tracks and things, certain backing tracks that we'll use and certain sounds on our old material. And it's actually been great. We have a potential couple collabs in the work too. They may not come out, but it's for the heavy stuff. And for that stuff, I mean, it's changed my ear enormously. Not so much in removing things that we had that did work for like the sound design for Street Sects, but just absolutely added to it. There's just no way to not use that stuff as you move forward, because even the only thing with the pop music is if you get too dense with the effects and the sound design, it can take away from the primary driver, say the vocal, which is often what the ear is following in a pop song. So that can be an issue. And we did figure that out as we went along. Another thing that helped was not just looking at tutorials and trying to better my own skills on my own, but with the pop project, when we pitched it to Ben just used what I gave him, the demos for Dry Drunk. I had basically written 30 or so in 2020. I kind of retouched a couple. We added a couple songs right at the end, but he mostly just used what I gave him where I left off. Whereas the pop thing, we were like, hey, do you want to collaborate a little bit? I'll send you my actual session. We'll bounce some sessions back and forth.
Are you still there? You just went perfectly quiet.
Oh, no. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you again. You just it was just like buffering like robot voice for a second.
Oh, that's part of the processing. I'm actually becoming an automaton.
He buffered out and then buffered in.
This is the next level of the band. I'm actually turning into a robot now.
Oh, makes sense.
Am I still cut? Am I cutting out or?
We got you pretty solid.
I'm in a parking garage trying to move to the top. Sorry. Well, in any case, that last point was that working with Ben, I was able to, which you can sometimes get when you're in a band room with kind of jamming things out, working on instruments. Sometimes that's one of the great things of contemporary collaborating is that you can send these sessions back and forth and you can look at how their software instruments were made, how they put them together, how they're layering things. And that just kind of opened my eyes because he's a great producer. He's engineered a lot of stuff at this point and continues to do so. I have a lot of respect for him, and it's absolutely going forward into our next records. I'm really, really excited for the next both records. We're working on some pop tracks, but the heavy stuff, including, is going to be fantastic moving forward, I think.
Nice. Awesome. Leo, I presume that you share that sort of optimistic enthusiasm for the next couple of releases.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the hope is that, because I mean, considering that the Street Sects, the pop project sound is kind of it was kind of a new experiment for us in a lot of ways. And, the hope is that, you get better, by doing more of it, and I know that I learned a lot of things from working on it, and it was, a lot of new challenges, and there's definitely things that I feel like I could improve upon and hone in. And so, yeah, I'm definitely optimistic. And I mean, mostly just excited because it's just, working on, especially the early stages, the conceptual stages of a record. I mean, that's like the most fun part, when you're really kind of talking out the ideas and just kind of hammering out, the shape of what it's going to be. I mean, maybe it's, more fun for me than it is for Shaun, because Shaun does a lot of the heavy lifting on the demos, before I start adding vocals. But yeah, that's the part that I love, is just like talking about, coming up with an idea and then bringing it to life,
Yeah, for sure. And when it comes to the vocals and the performance and what you bring, I mean, the heavy stuff live is devastating and just really raw and tons of energy. How does it feel to sort of try and take that and apply it to the more poppy kind of stuff?
Well, we haven't actually done the poppy stuff live yet, so that's going to be a different animal altogether. Or do you mean like take that and apply it to the songwriting?
Either one. I mean, really, do you feel sort of like it's a fun or a natural transition, or was it hard to do at first, or just what's been your experience?
No, it was for me, it was just pure fun because I started off playing hardcore and as a teenager, I played in hardcore bands, but then into my 20s and early 30s, with Shaun, I would say 90% of all the bands and the music that we wrote was not aggressive music. It was kind of like sleazy, angular guitar, Brit pop inspired kind of stuff, kind of bizarre, arty, indie rock, that kind of stuff. So melodic, I've done way more of that kind of singing in my life than I have aggressive singing, although considering how long Street Sex has been going now, maybe it's half and half at this point. But
sure.
So it wasn't weird or anything. It was just like, oh, I get to express myself in this other way, that I don't get to do as much in Street Sex. I mean, but if you listen to our discography, I've always tried to kind of sneak in little earworm melodies whenever I can, and whenever they're appropriate and they're not going to make the song sound, when they're not going to do a disservice to the song.
Sure.
And so it's the main difference is instead of that kind of being something I sneak in, it's that has to be the focal point. So the hard part was okay, so now I really need to write the best melodies and if you're going to have a chorus, it better be a good chorus. It better be a good melody. It better be something that's actually worth, repeating 2 or 3 times in a song. So,
yeah.
So that's the fun challenge about it, coming up with the absolute best melodies that you can. And then of course, the best lyrics you can once you've got those melodies locked in.
Yeah. Just real quick, last sort of question I want to ask about the project stuff, I guess. But just when it comes to the lyrical content, I know the Heavy project has a lot of heavy themes and things that you don't shy away from. Can you tell me a little bit about kind of what goes into that for both projects, of just what sort of ends up coming out of you, or what sort of motivates you to make the things you do?
Well, I mean, a lot of it, most of it is just kind of, it's coming from personal experience and, specifically with records like M Position and with Dry Drunk, it's, there's already kind of an overarching theme that I have in my head before, I sit down to write lyrics. And so while they're not concept albums by any stretch of the imagination, that's kind of not what we do. There is a theme. And so that kind of gives me a jumping off point to be able to write from. And, I often try to write through the perspective of a character who's either whose experiences are almost identical to mine, or they have a worldview or a string of experiences that are similar enough to my own to where I can write from that character's point of view as if it's myself. And so, it's whether it's about addiction or crime or, poverty or whatever the themes may be in a particular song. I just try to I try to take the character to places that I maybe haven't seen, narrators go before in other songs, I'm trying
Sure.
to, we're trying to create my own world or our own world with the music. And so, I'm not sure if I'm making sense here, but
You are. Yeah, no, you're fine. You're making perfect sense. I just am always sort of curious to hear what sort of brings the spark out of people, I guess, to be oh, I want to say this thing or express this, whatever translation of my experience or the ethereal or whatever it might be. I'm a big lyric guy. I pay attention to, words and what's said, and things will stick with me. A song can be mid as fuck, but if it has a good lyric or two, it will, stand out. It elevates it a lot. So yeah, I just was curious.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah, lyrics can make or break a song 100%.
Yeah, for sure. Shaun, are you a lyric guy or more of a music guy?
I am a lyric person in terms of an avid reader and a lover of poetry. When it comes to music, because I have written it for most of my life, I am a bit more on the music side at times. Though when I was younger, I was really into singer-songwriters. I absolutely loved Elvis Costello from like 17 to 30 or something, and Leonard Cohen. I was obsessed. And Nick Cave, but less so now, and increasingly less so as I move forward into my interest in sound design, because it's not, a lot of it isn't lyric based, or it's using words as a feeling, and placing it in a mix where its tonality happens because of the context of the music, and it's just a word, just suggestive. If you think of like, say, any of Burial's records, they're kind of like that. They seem to, a lot of people get a lot of feeling from it, but the words are few.
Gotcha. Okay. Very good answer. Very, very thoughtful. Just to shift gears a little bit, just what's the next big thing that you have coming up in each of your lives that you're excited about? It doesn't have to be your project. Just what's something that you're super jazzed about that's going to happen in the next couple of months?
It's so easy to lean on the music thing, though, because we have a tour. We have a tour coming up shortly, and we have some plans to work on new material that we really are talking about now. I mean, it's one of those things where when the music is out and everyone else is experiencing it as new, but since we took a hiatus for one thing, and we have so many other ideas we want to get out there, we're keeping the fuel in the tank, so to speak. We definitely are interested in coming back and trying out some new things.
Nice. And tell me about,
if I can think of something unrelated to music, I'll get it out there.
No, that's okay.
Yeah, it's the most pressing thing right now.
I mean, it's understandable. I mean, a tour is exciting, and like releasing stuff you've made is thrilling.
Well, we haven't played a show since 2022 either. So wow. It has been a minute since we've been out there, played a show, or connected with people in that way. So even tomorrow night is a big deal for us. Yeah. We just haven't been out as a band in some time.
Yeah, I think 2022 is when I saw you, actually. So yeah, sometime. Yeah, I'm excited for you guys to get on tour again. I will check dates and see if it's a thing that I can swing, because I would love to take in another show.
Cool.
Just funny little story I want to share with you, a little anecdote from that health show where I first was exposed to your music. Ran into a couple of youths in line that told me that this was their first show, and they went in, enjoyed the show. I ran into them afterward and I was like, hey, what did you think of the night or whatever? And they were like, we had a great time. But one of them was like, I had to leave during Street Sex because it was so visceral and raw and so loud, and just, I felt so assaulted. And he was like, I had to go outside and get some air. And I was like, wow, what a great review of your show. I had a great time. I mean, he's a young boy. I mean, he couldn't handle what you were bringing out.
Yeah, it's interesting how it affects different people. I have mixed feelings on it, because no matter how intense the show ever got, even when we did like DIY basement shows and we could really immerse people in strobes and fog, like in a room, which was the original intention before a bigger stage or a mid-sized stage. We haven't played that many, but we've had a few bigger tours. And sometimes it can't always be controlled to give you that experience, but not everybody wants that, because it is a bit more immersive, and it's not that experience that sometimes people just want, where they want that divide. They want that person on the stage. Please don't get off the stage and come toward me. Oh no, he's coming toward me. I'm getting uncomfortable. That sort of situation. Right. But it does remind me. I believe it was that tour. We had a show in Denver where Leo had pulled out the chainsaw in the middle of it. We were doing the interlude, and the security told us that during that moment, someone came running out, just a single person, kind of like looking behind them, yelling, saying something about maybe the chainsaw, and just ran down the street and never returned. Wow. And they were laughing about it. They thought it was the funniest thing ever. And of course it was funny at the time, but now I'm like, I don't know. Maybe the impression you want from everybody, but it was something to remember for sure.
Yeah. Left an impression on that person.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it is an intense experience, and I do mean that with all praise and all due respect. It was something to, even in, I saw you in San Francisco at sort of a big venue, and you made that space feel small. And that's not a thing that many bands can accomplish, I feel. I've gone to plenty of shows, and not everybody can do it. So yeah, hats off for that.
That's awesome.
But okay, well, I don't want to keep you guys too long, so I will go ahead and put the last question of the show to you. What is something that you have been enjoying recently? And your answer can be anything: a book, a movie, a TV show, your dog. Just what's something that you wake up and you're excited about? And you can't
Leo,
say
you gotta go.
again.
I know, Leo, you got to go first in this one because I totally bombed that last open question.
Something I've been enjoying recently. Well, we've been so hyper focused on the music stuff lately, and I don't see that slowing down anytime soon. So mostly it's like with the day job and just trying to maintain a healthy routine. This is like aside from the times at work when I can sneak like some reading. I have been getting these, like I was telling Shaun the other day, there's a publisher called Hard Case Crime, and they put out like either old like hard-boiled detective novels that went out of print from like 50s, 60s, and 70s, or like new up-and-coming crime writers, and they have like these cool kind of pulp covers for each one, and I've been reading some of those because they're just easy kind of suspense detective novels that you can kind of dip in and out of, and so those have been kind of fun at work. But mostly I look forward to like the end of the day when I get home. I've really like been on an anime kick lately, and I've never been a huge anime person, but like I kind of dabbled here and there over the years, but like in the last 2 or 3 months, like I got a Crunchyroll subscription, and that's kind of like just watching a couple episodes of whatever series I'm watching before bed, and that's like, I don't know, like I look forward to it. Like I refuse to allow myself to like watch it at any point during the day, even if I had time to do it, because that's like the peaceful like reward at the end of the night is like watching, like right now I'm watching one called Hunter x Hunter, and I don't know, it's just great. It's like just comforting, and a lot of the times like the stories are uplifting, and yeah, it's just really nice. So,
have you had let me just ask really quick, was there one thing in particular that you were like, oh, I'll roll the dice on this one, and it just hooked you?
One show or one series?
One show, one series, one movie, whatever the case may be. Was there one thing that just like made you go, oh shit, this is rad?
I think the one that really got me like hooked on watching the series was Demon Slayer, which is I'm sure you've heard of it. It's like a newer one. Like I started watching that one. I don't know, maybe sometime last year. I kind of kept up with it. I think I started it maybe 2 seasons in or something. But like I just kind of been watching that as it came out, and like I wasn't watching any other ones though. But then I watched that, and it was I'd finished it. And I'm like, I kind of want more stuff like this. And then I think I went from there. I watched Jujutsu Kaisen. I'm probably not pronouncing that correctly, but that was just incredible. And then, just been watching stuff since then. And it's mostly just been the last few months, but yeah, it's just great storytelling. It's just like really comforting, kind of like, just the structures and the way like you kind of never know what's going to happen next. And I don't know, there's not like, even though the shows get dark, like there's not like, most of my life I've consumed really dark, depressing, nihilistic art, whether it's film or books, and there's something about anime that's just kind of sweet and hopeful. Like even if the shows are off the wall, violent or crazy, like there's kind of a goodness at the heart of a lot of them. So, I don't know.
And I want to add to that I'm not an anime person at all, but Leo recommended to me, and maybe it's less cool because it's on Netflix, but it's a series called Scavenger's Reign, and I was totally obsessed. I absolutely, if we want to use the term binge watch, I couldn't stop watching it. It was just so fascinating. I don't know if you've heard that one, but it's a very immersive story that, again, you don't know where it's going. It is kind of hopeful. There are sad elements to it, and sci-fi elements, and adult themes, and everything else. It really blew my mind. It is something else. I highly recommend that to anybody.
Nice.
Yeah, that one's technically not an anime, but it is an incredible animated series. Absolutely. Yeah.
That's how little I know about anime. I hear anime and I go, well, I like that.
Yeah, I'm woefully the same way of like, oh, anime, I watched the Castlevania series, that was cool. And then people are like, it's not the same. Okay, well, I'm a dumb person, I don't know. So
it's not for everybody.
Yeah, understand. That's cool. That's a cool thing to get into. I think it's always interesting when people just sort of discover a thing that they're just like, this is so rad.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Way late in the game. Never thought I'd be getting into anime in my 40s. So you never know.
Yeah. Shaun, what about you? What's something you've been enjoying recently?
I was trying to rack my brain a bit while he was speaking, and I'm in the same place because we both have the day job. And when I am not working, I mean, even when I get out of work, like a long shift, I tend to settle in and I'll do some session in Ableton that's not related to writing music. It'll be separate. It'll be just making sounds or learning an instrument that I haven't messed with, native to Ableton or a plugin. I don't know. I've been doing some synthesizer ear training lately, a different software. And the other thing I do is long distance running. So I'll typically do that in the morning. And those are the two things that like sustain me. I feel like sometimes I'm just sort of bouncing back and forth between those. And it feels like a pretty good day if I can get those two in and some music. And lately, because we are getting ready for the tour, I've been going to our practice space early to work on the music for the tour, pretty much like 7 or 8 in the morning until about 1 or 2 in the afternoon, and then I work from 3 to 11. So it is a full day, and while I want something new occasionally to enter my life, this is sort of the treadmill we're on, so to speak.
Yeah, sure. That makes sense. I mean, it's good that you have like that balance of like two things you love, right? I mean, like it's not like you're having to do without. So that's good. You really are like pretty into music and the music, I guess. It shows. I mean, it's been your answer twice now. So, so well done.
I thank you. Yeah, I couldn't always say that. I came from like a guitar background, and I definitely hesitantly got into producing, and there was still always like a divide between what I thought I was capable of, and then you look at some of your favorite producers and they just seem otherworldly. And now I'm taking some pride in just kind of going back and learning the basics and figuring out what more I can do within itself, and then also to contribute to our music, to make it more dynamic, to make some great music eventually. We don't have a lot of time on this earth.
Yes, that is quite true. It is.
I mean, I wish I had the fire, like say Frank Zappa or Prince, have like a vault somewhere, but I just didn't have that sort of motivation in my teens to 20s, and now I'm happy that it's still there, that I still do want it, but I'm not like, well, just falling back on the same old riffs and tricks.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and that's a good thing. And there's no time limit, right? Like, I feel like, regardless of your age, if there's a thing you love, like, you should pursue it as hard as you can, because as you said, like, this is what we get, and it can be gone tomorrow. Like, and the world is grim. So the chances of that happening are going up every day. So
they sure are.
Yeah, not to get too fucking heavy or anything, but well, good answers. I always answer the question myself. So the thing I've been enjoying recently is, and it's kind of, I feel a little guilty saying it, but just sort of now that I've got a day job that takes up a significant amount of my time, and so I don't have as much to dedicate to podcast radio show, but there is something very enjoyable, and I'm expecting that the two of you can sort of relate to this, maybe, of just like, I have an income and I have independence, and I'm going to go just take a break from the passion for a minute and go just enjoy, like go on a trip, travel to this city for a vacation, or because I want to see friends, or I want to go do whatever. And so I do feel like a little, while my passion project has sort of suffered because of that a little bit, like things don't get as much attention as they used to, I do also feel like it's an important sort of a balance of like, this is a thing that you need to remind you of, to take a break, a mental sort of oasis of just like, I need a break from, my constant drive and constant struggle to just live a little bit. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think you're right. I think that you could come back to your passion
it
stronger.
sounds beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, are we still there?
Yeah, we're all still here. Just waiting for each other to talk, I think.
Yeah, I think that's great. I took a trip home recently, and I try to go once a year, mostly to see my parents. They're getting older, but I take, I do bring a laptop or something to work on music, but I try to keep it open-minded and try to get some of that energy back when I'm there to just get away from whatever grind I'm in.
Yeah.
Or a creative rut, or the same conversations about what we're working on. It is, but it sounds like for you, even more so. Just take that trip to the friend you haven't seen in forever, that city you've never been to that you always want to go to. Yeah, and you'll run into strangers, and whatever it is you're reading on the trains or the planes, it'll affect you in a way that it wouldn't if you had just gotten up and had the same coffee and worked on your passion.
Yeah, agree. And I think it was Mark Twain said something to that effect about like travel being good for the soul and the works to eradicate prejudices and things like that. I do agree. I think meeting people that you don't know that have had experiences significantly different from your own and exchanging words and ideas and thoughts has tremendous value in bringing some perspective to your own projects and ideas and things. So yeah, I absolutely agree. I think traveling and going out, you don't have to leave your city, but like go out and meet people you don't know and experience things that you've never been to before. It's worth it.
I will take what you've said as like a cue to do those things more, because I really, just hearing you say that, it's like I realize like, man, I don't really ever do any of those things, and I kind of get trapped in the grind of work and trying to push the band forward and the art forward, and then the rest of my time is kind of spent in like escapist entertainment. And so yeah, I really like what you said, and I think that's an excellent plan and excellent advice.
Cool. Thank you very much. I agreed. Not to sound too full of myself, but yeah, it's worked out for me so far, and it seems to help others. All right. Well, that is it. Thank you both so very much for your time and for coming and making this work. I look forward to catching you both live at some point in the future, and yeah, looking forward to new releases, more music, and yeah, thank you both for doing what you do. I'm a fan of your art, and I think the world needs more of it. And yeah, thank you both so much.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Hope to see you out there.
All right. You certainly will. Thank you both so much. Enjoy the rest of your evening. I will bug you via email for like a PR photo and a logo within the next day or so.
Void Signal intro and outro courtesy of Processor. Visit processor2.bandcamp.com for more Processor, and visit voidsignal.net to help support the creation of more Void Signal. Stay safe, stay loud.